I say it all the time. We should buy nice things. We should own nice things. But we need to be able to afford those nice things. We need to be able to truly afford those nice things. I'm not going to stand here and tell you to stop buying your cup of coffee or your Starbucks or your Dutch Bros or whatever. All I'm here to do is offer my perspective on the true cost of the things that we consume in our everyday lives and in the trap that we all get stuck in. Welcome back to another episode of Sweat Talk. My name is Chad. And before I get into this, I want to point something out. I want to point out that sales are necessary. They're absolutely necessary for any company or any business to survive. And I'm not here to demonize the salesmen or the salespeople of the world. And that's because for any business, so, like I said, any business, it doesn't matter, a side gig, a corporation, the job that you have, for anything to survive the long term, somewhere, somehow, there are sales required. No matter what it is, no matter what your job is, somewhere in there, there's some sort of sales that's required. I want to emphasize that before we start consuming anything, we must know the cost. We must know that our time and our life is actually the true currency that we use to purchase, that shiny object that we felt that we couldn't live without. Sales aren't they're not evil. And if there is a company out there or a person that you want to support, then do it. We see those things that we can't live without before we ever consider the time that we sold that we can never get back. The time that you sell to your employer is a contract that you've made in hopes that the currency that they're willing to give you per hour is going to pay off for you in the future. And we can see this. We know that this is true because your attention is constantly being bought and sold all across the internet, every single moment of every single day. Every single search engine, every single app, every single social media site, they're all fighting for your attention so that they can sell your attention to the highest bidder. So here's the catch that we don't realize. The more time that we sell to that job or our employer, the social media website, the apps, the subscriptions, that's the less time that you have to invest in yourself. And society has conditioned us to believe that buying or having more is going to bring more happiness into our lives. The bigger house, the fancier car, the latest phone, have they ever delivered on that promise? Think back to the last pseudo expensive purchase that you made. Maybe it's a high-end purse or the newest phone, or something that's fairly expensive. And when you think about that, how long did the thrill of having that new thing last? So was it a day? Was it a week? Was it a month? Like how long did that thrill last? And if you think about it, eventually, whatever it was that you purchased, whatever it was that you went and spent your money on and you thought was going to bring you happiness, it just becomes a part of the background. So then what ends up happening is we go out and we go buy more things. We go buy more shit that we don't need, and oftentimes with money that we don't have. It's a never-ending cycle because the more that we consume, the emptier we feel, and that's because the things that we're buying, they cannot, the material possessions cannot fill the void that we're trying to fill. Hello. The real cost is the hours that you work to afford it, the time that you spent away from your family, friends, and pursuing the life of your dreams. This is the trap of consumerism. It promises fulfillment, but all it actually delivers is a fleeting emotion. I want to break this down even further. Let's look at the time to cost ratio. If you're making $20 an hour and you spend $1,000 on said shiny object, that is 50 hours of your life that you have spent to obtain said shiny object, right? So if you agreed with that, then you're actually wrong, because that 50 hours, that doesn't include taxes. That doesn't include the loss of potential investment or return on potential investments. The actual cost is probably closer to 70 hours. So if you're making $20 an hour to buy that $1,000 thing, then that is almost 2 full weeks that you spent to obtain that shiny object for $1,000. That is 2 weeks of your life that you can never get back for that $1,000 purchase. So now that we've got that laid out, you need to ask yourself, was spending 2 weeks of my life that I can never get back really worth that shiny object, that purse, that phone, or hell, maybe even that one car payment? But I believe that the world is going to tell you that trade-off was worth it. It's not a big deal. It's a normal way of life. The world is going to tell you that you deserve it because you earned it, or they're going to tell you that you need to treat yourself. And like I said earlier, you do need to treat yourself. You do deserve to have nice things, but you also need to understand the true cost. So at what cost is that shiny object worth it? But I believe that the bigger danger is actually debt. Think about credit cards. They make it so much easier for you to buy now and worry later. But the problem with those is later never comes. Or when you go and you spend $30,000 on a car, even new or used, you spend that $30,000, but you're going to be financing it at 6% interest rate. So the minimum that you would get away is going to be about $35,000. And that's going to vary on the term. That doesn't include the taxes. That doesn't include the depreciation. That doesn't include being upside down in that loan for God knows how long. That's also not factoring in the potential loss that you're going to experience from that purchase. Is you could use that money for investment, which is going to gain you in the long run for the compound interest, right? You could have used that for an education to better yourself and develop some sort of a side gig or a skill that's going to pay you more in the future. Or you could also use it for a vacation that you're going to create lasting memories, which in my opinion, that's what life is all about anyway, memories. Debt, it's going to steal your future. It's going to keep you locked into paying for things that you no longer value. So what's the solution, right? Like how do we overcome this? And I believe that it's going to start with a mindset shift and understanding what the real cost is. Stop seeing money as the end goal and instead start looking at it as a tool that's going to buy your freedom to spend more time with family, freedom for you to pursue your passions, or freedom to live life on your terms. I'm not saying that you can't buy nice things, like by any means. No, go buy those nice things, but spend that money, understand the true cost. And when you spend that money, when you buy that thing, be intentional about it. So before you buy something, ask yourself, do I really need this thing? Is it actually going to bring value to my life? Or am I just simply wanting to buy this thing to fill some empty void that is inside of me? Create a budget for yourself and understand that a budget is not, it's not about restricting what you can spend. It's simply about having clarity on what you spend and where you spend it. Because when you know where your money is going, then that means that you are in control of your money. And I believe that once you are in control of your money, then you will be in control of your life. Stop comparing yourself to other people. And social media has done just an absolutely fantastic job at making every one of us feel inadequate. We'll see people that we went to high school with, or these social media influencers that are going out there. They live in these $1 million mansions. They have these fancy cars, the Lamborghinis and Bugattis. They take those luxury vacations and wear those designer clothes. But what we don't see is behind the scenes. We don't see that every single one of these influencers is drowning in debt. We don't see the amount of work and upkeep that it's going to require for them. It's going to require them for the rest of their life to maintain that lifestyle. To me, true wealth isn't how much money you spend. It's not the zeros that you have in your bank account. It's none of that. To me, true wealth is how much freedom you actually have. Just imagine waking up feeling free and not stressed out because of those unpaid bills, or waking up and taking the day off from work and not having the financial anxiety that could potentially follow with that. It's about knowing that you own your life and not the other way around. Consumerism, it thrives on insecurities. The less confidence you are in yourself, the more likely you are going to be to spend money to compensate for those insecurities. But here's the truth: no amount of money and no material possession or object will ever make you feel whole. Feeling whole, it has to come from within. And consumerism, it doesn't only affect your time and your wallet, it's also going to shape your values. The constant desire or need for acquiring, it can push your relationships, your personal growth, your mental health, all to the back burner. How many people miss family time? They miss milestones, all while or because they have to chase that overtime simply so that they can provide. But what is it are they providing? Like, are they providing a bigger car, a fancier car, or a bigger TV? You know, your relationships and your personal growth, that is the real wealth in life. That is the true currency in life. Think about it this way. When you look back on your life and you think about all of those memories that you had, you know, is it going to be the awesome vacation that you took? Is it going to be the laughs that you shared just sitting around the table, the dinner table with your family or with your boys, your girls, whatever? Are those going to be the memories that you actually remember and cherish, or is it going to be that worthless thing that's sitting in your garage just collecting dust? Imagine a life where you're no longer buried in credit card debt and you're no longer tethered to that job that you hate just so that you can simply make ends meet. A life where your happiness, it doesn't depend on your next big purchase. You know, it's possible, but it requires a shift, and it requires breaking free from a belief that more is always going to be better. You know, because your time is a finite resource. It is not limitless. Every single second that you have spent chasing more is one second less that you have in life to create something meaningful. Consumerism, it's not just about spending money. It's about spending your life chasing something that you will never fully catch. So think about this. What if instead of chasing, you started building? You know, so what I mean by that is instead of chasing these meaningless objects, you instead developed or invested in a skill, your education or your relationships. Because ultimately, these are the things that are going to grow in value over time. You know, a new phone, it's going to depreciate the moment that you acquire it. That new car, it's going to drop in value the second that you drive it off the lot. You know, but that skill or that bond with your loved one, those are going to last a lifetime. The secret is recognizing that you already have enough to be happy, enough to thrive, and enough to live the life that you want. Don't let that consumerism trap you in a race that you can never win. Step off of that treadmill, get out of that cycle, and begin reclaiming your life and your time. And I believe that when you do that, then you are going to realize or you are going to recognize that the most important things in life, they're not actually things. So if you made it this far, do me a favor and go down in the comments section and put that word reject. Just that one word reject. Let's reject the societal expectations of consuming everything that we encounter over our lives. Let's reject the concept that we need something bigger, better, badder, and faster in order for us to find and achieve happiness or fulfillment throughout our lives. Let's reject average, because average is broke, average is consuming, and average will never make it out because they can't stop themselves, or they are not able to reject the societal expectations that are placed on us. You know, if you made it this far, you are not average. And you've already proven that, because the average person's attention span is no longer than 5 minutes. I'm not saying that because I think that these videos are Emmy award winning or anything along those lines. But the average person is going to come in here and they're going to watch part of this video, just a couple of minutes of this video, and they're not willing to reject their old ways of thinking. They're going to watch 30 seconds to a minute of this video, and they're going to reject something that's positive, something that can be eye-opening or awakening, instead of rejecting the societal beliefs that have been programmed into their mind over the course of their life. We have to reject this shit. We have to. In order for us to get ahead, we have to reject this shit. We have to reject consumerism. We have to reject that debt and begin reclaiming our lives. So that's all I got for today, guys. I want to thank you guys for all of those super thanks that you keep giving me. There again, you are spending moments of your life when you do that you can never get back. And I truly do appreciate you spending your time on me. So I want to thank you. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for showing up. I hope you guys are showing up for yourselves, and I hope that each and every one of you has a wonderful day. Peace.